Hi everybody, this is Ellen. In this tutorial I'm going to show you how to make the happy chili. I think it turned out adorable. Looks great with got the nice curve going on. You can even kind of see how the stitches curve in the back side here. And of course the happy face. And for band wise I used 173 red ones and 8 green ones, and then of course for the face you'll need a couple cheek bands and then either 1 to 3 black bands, depending on whether you use beads or wrapped bands for the eyes. So we'll get started right away because there isn't anything else to explain, unlike usual, of course. There aren't very many wrapped bands. We do need to make the cheeks and the eyes, and I'll show you how to do that. We have if you want to do the wrapped bands for the eyes, that is just taking a band, putting it on your hook, wrapping it around once to a figure 8, grabbing both of the bands, wrapping it around again, so you kind of have a little ball. And then you're going to pull 2 bands through what's on your hook, and then you have a wrapped band eye. And if you want to use a pony bead, I'm using 7mm pony beads. They're available at most craft stores, although some of them don't have them. They just have the regular 9mm that everybody's used to seeing, but they're around. You can also use the perler beads cut in half. Marloom's Creations has a tutorial on that showing how to do that, so you can check that out. But for the eye, if you're using a bead, you want to find a piece of wire, string, floss, fishing line, anything you can put into a V. Put 2 bands into the center of it, then take your bead, thread both ends through, and pull it down, and then just slide your thing out. So then you have a beaded eye band. You need 2 of those, or 2 of these, depending on which one you do. The cheeks are made the same way as the eyes. Whatever color you want your cheek to be, take 1 band, put it on your hook, wrap it around once, grab both, wrap them around again, and then take 2 bands and pull them through your cheek band. So there's our cheeks. So you want to get those ready, or you can pause when we get there. And of course this is made on one loom, like usual, and I'm going to use the non-red arrow side of the loom because I just think it's a little easier. And I'm going to use red jelly for this chili I'm making now. Of course, remember, you can always use different colors. There's make a green one for a jalapeno, make a yellow pepper before it's ripened. Anytime that I use a color in a tutorial, it's really just a suggestion. Like I made the blue banana, and I kind of did that on purpose because I wanted everybody to see that you don't have to make exactly what I make for colors, because making it your own is what makes it fabulous. Like all the peas in the pod, I get a lot of people who say they can't make it because they don't have any green, but I have seen some really fabulous and adorable ones that are like rainbow colored or different shades of pinks or blues, so my colors are always just a suggestion, but I just tell you what I use. So, but we'll get started. And we're going to drop bands on 8 pins. So I'm going to start up 1 pin just because it's easier so it doesn't fall off the end. 2 bands here, and then 2 bands up 3 pins on the side. And then back in the center. So it'll look like this. This design you may be able to make on the monster tail. I know a lot of people ask me if they can use these. Honestly, I don't. A lot of times they're growing up designs anyways, so it shouldn't matter because you don't want it to grow down, but it's just these are made more for just bracelets, things with not a whole lot of bands on them, because I don't think they grab on well enough. I you can certainly try it, but I wouldn't probably use it for a tutorial or anything like that when I'm making my happy foods, just because it doesn't have the grip that the pin bars do on the loom itself. So, but you can try it if you want to. So now we're going to put in like a little kind of starburst deal, and from each of these pins, like we'll work on half from this pin right here, we're going to go out to the 4 pins around with 2 bands. Like that. Then we're going to do the same thing on the other half from the center. So 2 bands and just go around. Like that. So 2 bands underneath and kind of half circles right there. And then for whatever reason I usually start up on this pin, 2 bands, and we're going to put a cap band right here, probably wrap it around 3 times, like that. So then we can start looming out. So we're going to go through our cap band, grab the top 2 bands, and loom them back towards themselves. Then go back in through the cap band, grab the next 2 bands, pull them back towards themselves. You go all the way around the circle. Like that. And then to make this easier to stretch it down to this end, for this part, we're actually going to just go ahead and puff out these 4 pins. So what you'll do is on the half that we've already loomed out, you grab these bands that are underneath, take your hook, go in through your bands like you're going to loop, grab this band, pull it up, both ends on your hook, take the bands off the pin, and then what's on your hook is going to go back onto the pin, like that. And we do that for each of the other 3. So grab the bands, go in like you're going to loop them, pull them up, both ends on your hook, off the pin, and replace with what's on your hook. And just keep going. Like that. So now what we're going to do is take the center cap band and we're going to stretch it to this pin over here. So just pull it up and slide it down. And if it helps, you can kind of wrap this band up here around the pin so it reduces some of the tension. So we'll go in through here and we'll loom out the 4 bands around on this side. And I dropped it. Good save. Like that. Then once again we're going to puff out these 4 bands. So again, just grab it, go in like you're going to loop it, except for I think I twisted these. So it wasn't quite a good save. Alright, now we're good. Hook it, loop it, replace it. Like so. So now what we're going to do is we'll just slide this end cap into the center of these other two pins. And push your bands down. Then we're going to do 2 rows all the way around. So 2 bands. I'm just going to start down here and go all the way around until I get back to this pin. Like so. Then what we're going to do is go and flip over the bottom 4 bands over the top of the pin. You can start anywhere, but I usually start back here. So bottom 4 bands over the top and let go. And then back here. And just go all the way around. Like that. And we're going to do another row the same way. So 2 bands all the way around. Like that. I'm going to flip the bottom 4 again. So, push your bands down. Our next row is going to be our eye row, so you'll need your either wrapped bands or beaded bands. And we're going to put the face on the right side. So first we'll start right here, 2 bands, and then we'll put the eye bands. That. And the next one. I figured out this is the one place that I'm most likely to miss one of the bands, so they're not on there. And it's a pain to back up and fix it. And then the rest of the way is 2 bands around. Like that. Then you're going to go and flip over the bottom 4. Like so. So now we've done enough where we should be able to grab your cat band in the center here and just kind of pull it up. Obviously you want to make sure that you don't pull any bands off of the pin, but we're just going to release the tension. So it's going to start growing up. Like that. And push your bands back down again. So this row is going to actually be a kind of goofy half row. We're going to start right here in between the eyes with one band. Then the next two bands that go on will be doubled. So two bands right here and two bands right here, and then one band right here. So one band, two bands, two bands, one band, and then nothing over here. So then we're going to go ahead and we're not going to do anything with this pin right here, the first one where the single band is, but the next one we're going to flip over the bottom four. And then this one on the end will flip over the bottom four. Then on the eye side, we're going to flip over the bottom four right here. And then we're not going to do anything right here. So next row is our cheek row. So you want your cheek bands. We're going to start down here, two bands right there, and then our cheeks right where our eyes are. Like that. And then two bands all the way around. Like that. So then we're going to go and flip over bands. On the corner right here, there's going to be three bands to go over. And then right here, it'll be the four bands on the bottom. So it should leave you with 5 bands on that pin right now. And 4 bands. 4 bands. 4 bands on the front side here. Right here, it'll be the 4 bands. And then 3 bands on the corner. And 4 bands on the end. Like so. Look like I flipped an extra one over, but I'm good. So next we need to put on the mouth. Black band. Wrap it around your hook once. And it's going to go right between the cheeks. And how we're going to do that is just stick our hook in through here, pull these bands off the pin, slide down our mouth over those bands, and then put these back on the pin. So it looks like that. Next row is another half row. So one band again, right here. Then 2 bands. 2 bands again. And 1 band. So once again, we're going to flip over the bottom 4 on this corner, leaving this one alone. Then down here it'll be the bottom 4, and right here will be the bottom 4. And then we'll leave this one alone again. And now, before we go on, we're going to reduce this pin right here. So, face side's over here, but I'm going to turn it around so I can show a little better. We want to grab the top 2 bands, pull them up, and you should see a nice divide of where the bands are going. So these bands on my hook are coming from the right side, so I'm going to pull it over to the left. These ones, they should be coming from the left, so we're going to pull them over to the right, like that. I'll turn this back around. Now we're going to do a couple of rows. So 2 bands. I'm just going to start here and go around. And then don't forget the long cross one right here. Like that. So we'll go flip over bands on the corner. You're going to have, this is a reducing band that comes from the middle. So I usually flip that one over first. Then you'll have 4 underneath that. And then right here, you have your top bands, and then you have the single band from before. We're going to leave the single band, but basically everything underneath that, which should be 5 bands, because of the single band from before and then the last layer we did. So 5 bands over the top. Corner will be 3 bands. Top will be 4 bands. And on the other side, face side, 3 bands. Then again, there should be 5 bands to go over in the front. So here's my single band. And then on the corner again, we have the reducing band. Usually put that one over first, and then the 4 underneath. And we're going to do another row all the way around, 2 bands. And don't forget the one right here. So like that. And turning this over. On the corner here, 4 bands. Middle will be 5. End will be 4. On the other side, we have 4. And there should be 5, and then 4 on the corner, and then 4. I will say, unless you really goof up flipping over, it's not going to be a huge deal, like with that single band, whether it gets flipped over previous or later. So if you're kind of getting to the point you're like, oh, don't have that many, or I probably don't want a whole lot more, but if you don't have that many, it's probably not going to make a huge difference in the outcome of the chili. So now what we're going to do is reduce, and we're going to reduce this front pin in front by the mouth, and then the one right behind it on the back side. So you'll go in through the bands, grab the top 2, figure out where they're coming from. It's a little harder on the sides because you're swished in there, but mine are coming from the left, so they're going to go down to the right, and the other bands should just go up to the left. And we'll turn it around and do the other side. So grab the top 2 bands, figure out where they're coming from. Mine are coming from the left, so they're going to go up to the right. And then the other ones will go down to the left, like that. Alright, so now what we're going to do is do some rows around. And in this row, 2 bands. We're going to do a long stretch up the front, and then 2 bands at the top. Then 2 bands on the back, and then right here it's going to be 1 band doubled. So it's a stretch. So you have the long crosses on the sides, 2 bands up here, and this is 1 doubled band on this side. So now we're going to go ahead and flip over bands. So up here in this corner, you're going to have your reducing band. So flip that over. Then the 4 underneath of it. This corner down here will have the reducing band and the 4 underneath. We'll go up here to the top, just the 4 bands. And on this side, we have the reducing band, 4 underneath. Other pin, same thing, reducing band, and the 4 underneath. So now before we do our next row, I want to move these bands down a pin. So we're just going to kind of scrunch it up a little bit closer. It'll help when we do the next reducing, otherwise it'll be too big of a stretch. And right now it's a pretty good time, so I'm just going to take my hook, stick it in through the bands right here, pull them up off the pin, and bring it down and put it on this pin right next to the other bands. Your biggest obstacle is really going to be the pins underneath, so just kind of get past those and you'll be fine. Like this pin, you might get stuck when you're pulling it over this one, so once it gets on the other side it should be much easier. So do the same thing for these other bands. Put my hook in through here and then bring them up to this pin. Like that. Sounds kind of like a little house. Alright, so we're going to do another row. 2 bands right here. 2 bands right here. 2 over here. 2 bands on this side. And then once again, it'll be a doubled band right there. So 1 band doubled right here on the end. So when we go to flip, you'll have 4 bands up here. 4 bands up here on the top. And down here, you're going to have, it'll still look like 4 bands with the doubled band there. So flip those over. It might be a little tight, but on this side, 4 bands. And then at the top here, 4 bands. See how he's starting to turn? So now what we're going to do is reduce, like I talked about earlier. We're going to reduce these kind of corner pins right here. So you're going through the pin. You can see mine are a little twisted, so grab the top 2 bands, see where they're coming from. Mine are coming from this back pin, so they're going to go forward, and the other 2 bands should go back. And we'll do the same thing on this side. Top 2 bands, See where they're coming from? Mine are coming from the left here, so they'll go to the right, and the other ones will go up to the left. So there, now you have like a little triangle. So if we would have left those bands where they were before, they would have been back here, and that would have been a really long stretch to the top. So that's why we moved them. So now we're going to do another row, 2 bands, and it's just kind of a long stretch to the top, and then back down to the bottom, and then it's just going to be 2 bands down here. Like that. So I'll flip these over. So on the top pin, you're going to actually have a reducing band from each side, and if you kind of look at it, you can tell the front side, which was the second side I did, is on top. So I'll do that one first, then I have the back side one, and then there should be 4 bands underneath those to go. Then on this pin back here, we have a reducing band, and then there's 4 bands, which is doubled band, and 2 other ones. Flip those over. Same thing over here, reducing band, and the 4 bands underneath. And I say 4 bands because it looks like 4 bands, but it's the single, double, and the other 2. So there's one. Do another row. 2 bands all the way around. So the bottom 4 at the top, bottom 4, bottom 4, then we are going to reduce again. This time it's going to be this top pin. We're going to bring it back to these side pins. So you want the top 2 bands. Mine are coming from over here on the left, so I'm going to come over to the right, and these will come over here. And I've got it, kind of got it wrapped around this pin, so I'm going to cover both sides of my pins that have bands on them, and just get it off this pin. So we'll push this down, and we're going to do another row, which is basically we're just going to wrap bands around each side. So 2 bands, start on this pin, I'm just going to go over to the pin on the other side, and then do the same thing over here. You don't have to wrap it around the pin, it just makes it easier for me to see. So we're going to flip over the underneath bands. So you'll have a reducing band, and then the 4 bottom ones. And on this side, you'll have a reducing band, and the 4 bottom ones. Take these off. Push this down one more time. Now what we're going to do is just flip over the bottom bands here. So find the bottom bands, flip those over the top, and then once you have that, I'm going to take my hook, stick it into each one of these bands and pull them off. So like that and like that. And we'll take another band, pull it through, make a slip knot. Then you want to go in through the back of the chili or somewhere. Take your hook all the way up through the top. Grab your band that you pulled through for your slip knot and bring it all the way down inside. But don't pull too much, although my bands seem like they're really sticky right now. You don't have to pull too much because otherwise you'll get rid of the point on the end of the chili. So just kind of watch out for that too. So there we have it, a sweet little chili. We'll do the top now. I'm just using dark green. I'm just going to find a spot under the end cap somewhere. You don't even have to go through the entire end cap if you don't want to, or a cap band. Just go through a good chunk of it. Just try not to get into, get wrapped around too many of these bands up at the top, because otherwise you'll end up with like a little gap on the sides. But then I just took 2 bands, put them on my hook, doubled them, so wrapped them around, and I pulled them through, both ends on the hook, and it was 2 more bands, doubled them, pull them through, try not to snag things, both ends back on the hook, 2 more bands again, doubled, like that. Then I take 1 band, double it, pull it through, and finally 1 more band, just pull it straight through, both ends on the hook, make the slip knot, and then we'll hide the tail by weaving it down into the side of the chili. Then when I get low enough, I'll just go in through the back of the chili somewhere, come up in through the center, grab the rest of that band, and pull it down inside. Like so. Not too shabby, I'd say. I think they're pretty adorable. They work. They're cute. I love the curve. Kind of glad I figured out how to do that. It's not easy all the time for the things. And I have to show you, this is my mango. These are my peppers. I know people were turning my mangoes into peppers, which I guess if they were bigger, they could be a pepper, but that's not what I made them for. But I have tons of these little guys to work on. They're all over the place. I think there's 15, 16 of them now. I'm pretty proud of how fast and how I've been able to figure them all out. Oh, it looks like I lost some peas. We'll have to find them. And because it's not always the easiest to come up with new ideas. Some of them I had worked out previously when I knew I was going to start this little series, but then other ones were just suggestions that lots of people had, so I was like, well, I got to figure out how to do them, so let's figure it out. And there's quite a few of them. carrots, my green onions. Pears, apples, broccoli. I'm getting there. I remember when I think I said this not that long ago either, but I remember when I first started, it's like I have one in the frame and I was like, oh wow, that's so cute, and then I added another one and was like, wow, that's so cute too. There's another happy food, and now getting to the point where it's like, there's a lot of these guys. I'm missing one. So, we're working on it. There will be lots more to come. I definitely have a few more in store. I'm trying to keep them a surprise. I know a lot of people are anxious to know what's coming out next, and I really like surprising everybody, or, I mean, sometimes I'll give a little teaser in a video because I think that's fun too, but sometimes it's just, I like to surprise people because you never know. Plus, maybe I haven't filmed it yet, maybe I have trouble uploading, or, you know, things like that where I may show something in a tutorial as a teaser, but then I have issues with my software or uploading or something like that, and then I wouldn't be able to put it out next. So then people would be upset with me that it's not out. So I'm just kind of putting out the next things that come along or in my series. And it's going to vary. I finally have the fries out for you guys. I know that. So I'm getting to other foods as well, but I definitely am not done with the fruits and vegetables. So I don't think I abandoned them yet, because there are quite a few more that I can do that I have done that I need to share. So I definitely keep taking your suggestions, because that's always nice to know what you guys want specifically instead of guessing. But I really hope that you're enjoying my tutorials. If you make some of these lovely guys, I would love to see the pictures of them on my Instagram, which is at Crafting Fantastic, and you can hashtag them to feelinspiffy happy food. And if you want to share with me on my Facebook page, the link is under my video in the description. And of course, for those of you who like to be in the under 300 club, or although it's not too hard on my videos yet, I should say, getting to watch my videos before 300 other people have. It's not too hard to do, but I know some people like to do that on all the videos, so subscribing to my channel is the best way to get there first and to know when exactly I've put things out. But I will definitely have more for you very soon. Thank you for watching.